many centimeters does it take, do you think, to make this meter stick? How many centimeters? Yuri? 100. How many hundredths does it take to cover this hole? How many does it take? 100. Oh, I want to show you an interesting relationship. Are you ready to see this? Take a look at this. When I line up 1/10, what do you see it landing on? 10. So this is a 1/10 of the meter stick. Let's keep counting. 20 hundredths or 2/10. What do we have now? 30 hundredths or 3/10. So let's count. We have 10 hundredths, 20 hundredths, 30 hundredths. What would come next? 40 hundredths, 50 hundredths, 60 hundredths, 70 hundredths. So the value that we have here in front is 70 hundredths. Who can help me write that as a decimal? How would I do that? Come around, and every single one of you is going to get one of these. And we're going to continue to line it up with our meter stick. And we're going to do like we did yesterday. Do you remember when we made, thank you, we made a prediction on how much we would get to. Right now we have how much, Freddie? We have 70 hundredths, but every single person in our room has a hundredth right now, and we're all going to get a chance to put in our count. So make a prediction. We're starting with 70 hundredths. How much do you think we'll have when we're all done putting our hundredths out there?
80.
80. I hear 88 hundredths. I'm hearing 86 hundredths. Does anybody else want to give one more prediction? Do you remember yesterday when you were counting? I was writing down the numbers you were saying, but we would raise our hand and stop the count whenever we saw an equivalent relationship, right? And you guys have started noticing a lot of equivalent relationships with decimals, haven't you? Okay, so be aware that we can stop and talk about those if you notice anything interesting that you recognize. Okay, so we're going to start with you. And you're going to place your hundredth at the spot on the meter stick, and we're just going to keep going, okay? All right, so what would you say? We're starting at 70 hundredths. What's your count? Go ahead, put it up there.
0.71 hundredths.
Thank you, 71 hundredths. Noah, keep coming. And then Yuri would be next.
0.72 hundredths.
Okay. Thank you, 0 and 73 hundredths.
0 and 44.
Thank you.
0.75.
0 and 75 hundredths, and I'm seeing hands go up. That's making me think that people are starting to recognize that this might have an equivalent fraction that we know. Oh. Turn and talk to somebody next to you and see if you can think about what did you talk with about to your partner? What are you thinking about? So I'm going to call in a couple of people so that we can add on to each other's ideas. Okay? All right, what were you thinking about?
25 times 3 equals 75.
Okay, so we know a relationship already. Something about 25 times 3 makes 75. So that could help us in our relationship. Add on to what he's saying. Could be equal to a half. Okay, I heard that in some other conversations too. Tell me more about that. Why could it be a half? Okay, so you're noticing, and I'll kind of fill this in. So we had 71 hundredths, 72 hundredths, 73 hundredths, 74 hundredths, 75 hundredths, that these 5/10ths are halfway to 80 hundredths. Is that what you're saying? Okay, so that, I can see where you would think about a half there. But now I want you to think about this. if this is a whole, did we shade in half of it? Did we shade in more than a half or less than a half right now? So, okay, so yes, this, I like what you've noticed, that this little part right here, just the red ones, we're halfway to getting another 1/10 here. But out of the whole, I think we have more than a half. Who wants to keep talking about this? Go ahead, sweetheart.
I also noticed 75 hundredths is equal to 3/4.
Okay, so I'm hearing that 75 hundredths is equal to 3/4. You have some ideas about that. Talk to me about that.
It's like 4/4.
Okay. So if I have 4/4, how much money do I have?
Oh, it's 3/4.
It's like 3/4. How much money would I have if I have 3/4?
75 cents.
75 cents. Noah, you were convinced after our talk with your partner. What made you convinced that this was 3/4?
I agreed with Layla, but 75 is a little bit greater than a half because half of 100 would be 50.
Half of 100 would be 50. I'm going to write that up there too. So these are all some really, really nice ideas. Half of 100 is 50. So I could see where my halfway point is. I could draw this line. In fact, I might use a different color so that you can see it. Okay. So this then must be 1/4. Have you seen that shape before?
Yeah.
Have you started to, what are you noticing now?
I remember Trinton did the same thing on the other side.
So I could go like this, couldn't I?
Yeah.
Do I have 3 equal parts?
Yes.
So I have actually 4 equal parts altogether and 3 of them are shaded. You are starting to notice such cool relationships.